various methods of getting the sound onto your finished product. The two basic ways that we do it in film and television, it's called single system and dual system. Single system means that whatever camera you're using, the sound is being recorded directly on it. Like the camera you're using now here, which is a Sony FS7. This microphone that's above me, this one, is plugged directly into the camera. You can plug one like this directly into the camera, and the sound is then recorded in sync with the picture. And if you're in a hurry, that makes it easier for editing. If you're just doing a little documentary or a little TV piece, then you don't have to bother mixing sound after. Well, you do, but it just makes it a lot easier. On cameras like this Sony DSLR, which it has a little built-in microphone on it, but only use it if you're absolutely desperate. You should be able to put different microphones into this camera, and we have a couple of devices for doing that. This is one of them. There are various models of them. These are made by a company called Beachtech, which I think is in Kelowna in BC. This is also a Beachtech adapter. And what it does is it clips onto the bottom of your camera or the top. It threads on any way there's a number of ways of putting it, or you can mount it beside it. And then this goes into the audio input in the camera, plugs in, and then you've got XLR inputs. This is an XLR cable. This is the most commonly used audio cable. This would now allow you to put two microphones, like this shotgun or a wireless lavalier mic, into this input, and that would then feed into this camera, and then gives you a way of controlling the audio directly in a single system, so that you're recording good audio at the same time as good video on this camera. Yeah, if you want to come in, we can talk about these Beachtechs. They're pretty simple to use. This one here is the Beachtech Ultra. It's got a battery in it, so it will phantom power, which means it'll power microphones that need a little more power like this, or need power like this shotgun. And it's got a little meter on it. It's got a headphone adapter, and you can and pads to make it high or low. This is the deluxe version of this. Both work equally well. This one just gives you a little more control and gives you a visual reference, so you can actually see what's going on. And now we're going to talk about double system. In double system, the camera records the picture, and sound is recorded on any number of devices. These are some of the ones we have. This is Sound Devices MixPre mixer recorder, so it allows you to mix a lot of inputs and it records at the same time. Zoom recorder, same thing to a degree. This is a smaller zoom. The Tascam, which again is a mixer recorder. And why you want that is it allows you to put more than two inputs. Most cameras only have two audio inputs. This, you can put 4, 6, 8. You can get bigger and bigger ones. We have an 8-input one. And it also puts the responsibility of the sound to another person, not the camera operator. It becomes the sound operator's responsibility. He or she is looking after all of these and making sure that the levels come in correctly. And they can also, every time you stop, they can check the take to see that the levels are okay. That's double system. So now what you've got are two separate machines recording the same event. Camera's recording picture, these are recording sound. All of these machines, because of the weirdness of electricity and electronics, will move at slightly different speeds. They may be microscopic, but they can go at different speeds. So you've got the sound recorded, you take it into your editing booth, you put it down on the soundtrack on your editing, and you find that it's out of sync. Maybe the person's lips are moving, but the words are half a second before or after. And you've got to mess around trying to find the starting point. Well, what they've done for many years is you have a clapper board, which is what this is. It's like this. And before you start, everybody's quiet. This is opened up, and then you can see that okay? Then you open it, and then you do that with it. So it puts a sound, which you've heard, that slap, and you've got a visual. You know that slap happens exactly when this thing it's there. So you know, on your video track, you can look and slow down and slow it down until you see exactly where that hits, and then you can see the spike on your audio track, and that gives you your starting point. There's a lot more information that comes out of this. This one will give you time code and time of day and various things like that. We don't need to get into that at this point. If you're desperate, you don't have one of these fancy clipboards, the thing to do, and you'll see people doing this all the time, is a clap, and it works the same way. So if I clap my hands, you have a picture of exactly when I made that sound, and you've got that sound, the sound of that on the track. So make sure if you're doing the clap that if you're running 2 or 3 cameras like we are here, I've got one right above me here, I make sure that my hands are in line for that one and that you can see them, and that usually you'll give some kind of marker. You'll go scene 1, take 1, class with handsome old sound dude. Okay, so I lied. You should always also be recording the sound on the camera. Most cameras have either an onboard mic, or you can take a feed from one of these and feed it into one of the inputs in the camera, so that you've got what we call a guide track or a rough track or a reference track on the camera. It can help you in post. You could get into a situation where if you've done 5, 6, or 7, 10 takes of the same thing over and over again, and you start with just the clap, well, you could sync it up to the clap point, and the words that I'm saying, because I'm, 6 or 7 takes, you're saying the same thing over and over. The words might be in sync for the first little while, but I could drift off and they would be out of sync. So basically, it would be can be sometimes difficult to match up the exact take on the sound with the exact take on the camera. So if you've got a guide track on the camera as well, it'll help you to find the point that you need to find. And it's also a good idea when you are syncing either with a clap or with a clapper board. Give as much information as you can, scene 1, take 1, and if you've done all of scene 1, take 1, but you've got an insert to do into one of them, say that, scene 1, take 1, insert, which is a piece you're going to stick in. Or if you want to continue scene 1, take 1 from a point at the dialogue that you've already recorded good, you could say scene 1, take 1, pick up as much information as you can. Even date and time, camera operator, sound operator, but as much specific information to the thing you're doing will help you in post finding the tracks you want and syncing them up.